Hello, my name is John Liu, founder of Flow Studio, and this is another recording of White Flow Studio. So, this particular example is how we can use Flow Studio to reassign flows that belongs to a person that may be leaving the company or maybe being reassigned elsewhere, and then you need to quickly get all their flows off to maybe a system or service account. So this is how we're gonna do it. I have several users in my tenant. I do have this guy called Flow Studio Support. In fact, this is the account that handles all the Flow Studio support emails. And if we look at here, this guy's support has only got one flow, get CSV, and it uses one connection. So it uses SharePoint, but uses SharePoint as the support email address. So see this, okay? And the owner is just support. So say support is leaving, so we need to share this flow with someone else quickly. We're gonna come here and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna basically say another user. We're just gonna share it with John. John's already have enough. We're just gonna have to add a few more. Okay, and this is gonna say, oh, you're gonna be sharing your connection, which is fine. That's just the default one. And give that a second, it will share it with John. So that is actually done. So you see here, John Liu is a co-owner. And in fact, when you come back to Flow, you will see that my flow no longer has the flow. And for support, this flow is now under the team flows. It's got two owners. Okay, still not modified. Now we're gonna switch over to Flow Studio. So you want to go and run Flow Studio on John's account. So if you're transferring everyone's flows to a service account, you go to the service account, you run Flow Studio, you go to the Migrate. So the Migrate is a new feature that helps us move flows. So in Migrate, the way we do it is we gotta give it a name. So you can type a new name, move, I think I wrote one, move support flows to John, but you can basically type a new name and then hit save. I will save that name and it's an empty plan. And in the plan, we say where are we moving from? We're moving from our source and destination is actually the same. So these are the flow environments. Give it a minute, it's gonna go and read the assets that are in it. Still reading destination. So both source and destination are the same, but for destination, it reads all the connections as well. So this list is quicker. This one just reads all the flows that are in this environment. This one reads flow and all the connections. So it's actually taking a bit longer. Give that a quick minute. So that's finished. And then we're gonna add flows. And so this drop down, because it's read all the flows, get CSV, that's the one, and we're actually going to write it back to the same file, get CSV. Okay, and I'll show you a few things. So this is a fairly recent update, but basically Flow Studio Migrate has detected that your source and destination are the same, and by default this copy will not do anything. It is a safety precaution. We don't want you to accidentally override your own flow. So you actually have to come into one of the settings here. This is an override setting. You actually have to say, I want to force an update. Okay, that's the first part. Now, this, see, is referencing connection object, but this connection is actually the one that's from support. So if we look at, say, if we come here and we look at get CSV, you'll see it's the connection is the support one. See this? So what we want to do in Flow Studio is we actually want to edit this. We say no, use one of my connection. I don't know why I have 4, but anyway, I must really love SharePoint. That's why. And we can even give a name. So force flow to use JL connection. Okay, so give it a nice name so you remember what it's doing. Save this plan. And you can add as many flows as you want. So add more flows. Each one, just open up the panel. It will automatically try to scan the flow and then pick out all the variables, URLs, and connections. In particular here, we're very interested in switching out all the connections. So you can do as many as you want. I've seen people build plans that are 30, 40 flows across different environments. In our situation, we just want to make a plan that lists all the flows and then have them all shift to the right connection. You want to do that consistently, pick all the same one, and here will tell you the connection is set to this. Now when you're ready, you just hit run the plan. And that's going to go through each one of these flows and basically update their definition and switch out the connection so that it will use the one that's made by John Liu. So you actually say it's finished. The flow's already started, so this will remain started, and it will basically refresh afterwards. So now while it's refreshing this, I will come back here and let me just refresh this. And you will see that the flow has switched over to use John Liu. Okay, and if you go into the flow, you will see that the connection is actually switched over to John Liu. Okay, rather than support, it's actually switched to John Liu. So when this particular user eventually leaves the org, or his user account is disabled, then this flow will continue to run because this is not configured to use this connection. Now within the flow itself, the connection is still shared because when it was first shared from support to John Liu, there was a dialog that says you are about to share this connection with the other owners of this flow. So that remains true. It's just the definition has switched. Flow Studio Migrate has switched all the connections to the one that you picked. Okay, so it's added that connection and then switch them over. And you should do this in bulk. Make a plan that to add all the flows that are critical. Flows that are not critical, just let them go. You gotta let some flows go. But flows that are critical, switch out their plan and switch out their connection. Use a migration plan to basically plan this in one move. Okay, and let me know if you run into any troubles. This is a fairly critical feature. We hope it will save you a lot of time and give you a repeatable step to basically switch out the connections when you need to. But do let me know if you have any issues with this feature. It is very delicate, so I don't want there to be any mistakes. Thank you. Bye.